Yo, Cal. Sup? Just chillin'. You know what they're doing? They're wondering why the hell you're dressed like that and why you have a motorcycle. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we're giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Welcome to the Extreme channel, where we are all about extreme collectibles, and today we have an extremely rare Superman statue in front of us. This is a custom 1/4 scale Superman Godfall statue. Let me explain all that before we dive into the review today. So Superman is a DC comic person, which if you don't know that, get the hell out of here. Custom means it's a private unlicensed commission. DC did not approve of this statue. 1/4 scale means a real-life version of this would be 4 times larger. And lastly, Godfall is a mini-series that involves Superman actually still living on Krypton. And he unknowingly has powers. So he lives as a normal citizen. Kind of normal. When I say that, it's because he works for the government. That really makes you strange, especially nowadays. 2, he's married to an alien. Very long story short, is on Krypton, they really believe in purity, which is a horrible part of our history here on Earth. They find out that Kal is married to this alien, so they want to get rid of her. While they're trying to get rid of her, some of Kal-El's powers are actually released. First, his heat vision, and he kills a few people. Then during all this struggle, his freeze breath actually kills some children and some other people. So he becomes a wanted murderer. But he's still a good guy. At least that's what his lawyer would say. So that's a little brief scenario into what Superman Godfall is. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to check it out. It's a very cool, different Superman story. Now, the reason I ordered this a few years ago. Usually when you order a statue, it goes up for what we call PO or pre-order. You put some money down based on a render, and then in 6 to sometimes 40 months, you actually end up getting it. So I ordered him a few years ago, and he is finally here. And as I said, I ordered him because at that time I was collecting an entire line of Superman statues. Here are some of the pieces I have owned or currently do own. I have this half-scale Henry Cavill statue from Justice League Snyder Cut because I absolutely love this. This is made by Prime 1 Studios. Don't know if I'm keeping this one or not because I'm selling a lot of my collection. I'm not selling this life-size Christopher Reeve bust. Have a whole line of DC busts going. Definitely going to keep this one. I absolutely love it. I probably will sell this Superman. It's a 1/4 scale. It's a custom. I'm going to sell all these in a few months, so make sure to stay tuned to that. This fatty Superman. Again, these all would have looked fantastic together. That's why I kept buying different Supermans. I think it would have been a truly great display. Sideshow's premium format. This is one of the first videos I did on YouTube. As if you can't tell, I actually have the light in the picture of the thumbnail, but pretty cool piece. Superman Hush I will not be selling. I'm keeping my 1/3 DC collection. To me, this is the best Superman ever made. I'm probably keeping this custom black-suited Superman as well. This is comic-based. A very, very cool piece. I no longer own this Clark Kent transformation statue. It's pretty cool. It just took up too much space for me, and again, I'm getting away from the 1/4 DC line in general. I will be keeping this life-size Henry Cavill bust, though. Pretty cool piece, next to that Superman, or that Christopher Reeve bust. I used to own Prime 1 Studios 52. I got rid of this, even though I think it's a phenomenal statue on every single level. I just need to keep 1 or 2 Superman. That's why I'm whittling it down. I also got rid of this Christopher Reeve 1/4 scale Superman. Again, a fantastic piece. I just no longer own it. Now, this next piece technically isn't Superman, but I still own him. He's fantastic. He goes with the collection, you know, Superman, Superboy. That's why I intended to get this Godfall statue. I thought it'd look great with all of these, including this Dark Metal Knight Superman. This is 1/4 scale. I'm actually giving it away to you guys. Stay tuned for that. Again, Hank Henshaw isn't technically Superman, but this Superman Cyborg would have looked fantastic together. I do have this Superman statue on order. So this is 1/3 scale as opposed to 1/4 scale. It is from the Dark Knight's metal line. Very cool piece. And because I love the Justice League Snyder Cut so much, I have their 1/3 scale Henry Cavill piece on order. So you can check out reviews of all those pieces, but I am done collecting Superman statues. I recently announced I'm going towards a retirement, so I'm actually not going to keep this. We'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. But for now, we're going to kick off the reviews, starting with concept of this piece, which is what makes it look so cool. And not only that, but the person who commissioned this is kind of a comic nut, and I say that in a very good way. So this is actually directly from the comic, this pose on his bike, which he used to get around Krypton. So we did a museum-style base, which I'm not a huge fan of. They did add some advanced circuitry. We're going to look into it. You see the Superman symbol on each side of it. Then you have his bike sitting in the background, and this bike is phenomenal. Very futuristic. It has some light-up features we're going to talk about. And then Kal-El's pose. Just a normal, everyday pose of a guy who wears armor and a cape, sitting there with the cape blowing in the wind. He's leaning back on his bike. He looks very calm, maybe about to hang out with some buddies, ready to go to work. And as you move up, you still see the muscular aspect of Superman. He obviously has this different costume on. And then you see his portrait. Now, his portrait isn't the typical Superman we see. This is decently close to the comic, but it's a little bit different. As you guys know, Superman is typically portrayed Americanized, where here you almost see a little bit hint of Middle Eastern in the portrait. But you also see that in the comics as well, and we're going to talk more about that with paint and sculpt. But when it comes to concept, I like it a lot. While I'm not a fan of museum bases, this is very much a museum pose. And I think if you're doing a whole line of Superman, like the greatest Superman collector out there, Stu, this would look phenomenal with everything. So I think overall it's a 4 out of 5 when it comes to concept. Design is fairly simplistic. Unboxing and assembly wasn't that bad either. Check it out. The box was huge as expected and extremely heavy. Now it was a standard custom black foam, but there were no tape or straps, which scared me a little bit. However, there were no breakages. So it had 3 layers. This would be the first layer. Everything packed really well. The second layer here was the bike, which was considerably heavy. And the last layer was the base, which is also very heavy. Now, whenever you create a character with a motorcycle, you have to acknowledge it's going to take up a ton of room, and this is no exception. So the widest point of the base is 29.5 inches. The deepest part runs 14.5. Then the statue is just under 20 inches. So while that's a necessary evil, I still think it's a bad thing. So I'm going to knock the design a little bit for that. Also on this design, what you see is what you get. There are no switch out options. The only thing I could think of is them doing a portrait switch out, but I don't know what kind of expression they would change it to. Here he's kind of serene, which makes sense with the storyline. You wouldn't want an angry portrait because he's just kind of leaning back on his bike. They did add a pretty awesome light up feature via AC adapter. Pretty cool. Has an on and off switch on the back. So it lights up on the front here. It also comes out of the wheel hub in the back. It's harder to see on camera. Now, if I had to critique it, I'd say the one thing is so much wasted space right here and on the other side of Kal-El. That's really my big gripe, that and the size. However, everything fits together really well despite some issues I had assembling it. It was packed great. So I think the design's a 4 out of 5. But again, like even if they'd cut it off, like made it a V right here, that would have given you display space to put another statue. Because as statue collectors, space is our enemy, and our significant others, and boxes, and money, and scammers, and non-refundable deposits, and delays. Now we're going to dive into paint and sculpt, and this is one of my favorite custom groups for paint and sculpt, but I think there's some issues, mostly with the paint, but check it out. Alright, so let's start in on this guy. The base, kind of a flat black paint that they used on it, which is fine. That's kind of what you're going for a museum style base. This orange on the front really makes it pop, but typically, depending where you display it, you don't see it. So it's almost something that you miss here. Now with that being said, the paint's a little sloppy. You see a few areas like here, and especially on the Superman symbol. See where some of the bleed off is on the silver? So where the S meets the red. I'm not a fan of that. It looks caked on a little bit, and that's on every single symbol. But the top of it looks nice. I like the ridges, kind of makes you feel that futuristic design. And looking at the bike here, it looks great. Again, it's a very futuristic looking bike, so there's not as much detail as far as like engine parts and spokes and wheels. You do see a few things on the gauges up here. Some of the paint's a little average in my opinion, but I like the sculpt of this, the smooth design. The tires look great. I like the color choices, and I'm guessing they're pretty comic accurate here. So it's not like some of the other motorcycles we've looked at, like some of the Ghost Riders or the XM Studios Catwoman. And the opposite side, other than that kickstand that you saw during assembly, is just the same as this. I'm not turning it around because it's plugged in. But the cushion looks great at the top, looks like a real cushion. You saw some of the gauges in there. Now Kalel, first let's look at his cape. Some good texture in his cape. I like the black shading, it's not too overdone. The ripple effect in it makes it really look like it's flowing in the wind. His boots, he has these metallic armored boots, which are part of the story, look pretty cool. Very robotic in design. I think the silver complements well. It's a different silver than we see on the bike. See the contrast there? Is a dotted pattern that brings this texturized to the black parts of his suit. His anatomy is fantastic. Very slim. And even on the suit, you see a few places where you have the folds, the seams running up and down the sides. Then you have the red part, kind of this overcoat. It's not really an armor, but over layering. And again, some of the same comments about the paint. See that right there? Really, they struggled with that symbol, or even like this line right here. This is looking at it pretty close. But again, great anatomy, great musculature. And the pose is very stoic in my opinion. Now here's his portrait. So first his hair looks good. A few highlights of blue in there. I like the way it's combed. And you know what? I just realized as I'm filming this now, he also has the spit curl. And I left that in the box, I believe. So I think it inserts right there. So I'll post some pictures on social media with his spit curl in there. I'm pretty sure. But there's his portrait. Like I said, his skin is a little bit too dark. I like the stoic expression on his face. Not the typical Superman we're used to, but clean paint around the eyes. The eyebrows, I would have liked to see a few more hairs in there. But I like his chin line. Where you can see his neck. Man, it's bugging me about the spit curl. Let me go find it right now and just insert that for you guys. All right, there it is. And it doesn't stay in very well. And honestly, I think it looks a lot better without it. And you can't even tell the keyhole is so small where it goes in. It does add a little something to the statue, but yep, I do like it better without. Gonna put that back in the box for sure. But that's it, guys. So yeah, I think some pros and cons on this. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I give the paint a 3 out of 5. It's average. It's not incredibly amazing like it is on some of the other pieces this group has done, but I'm a little disappointed, mainly because they hold the bar so high. Sculpt. Now, I do really like the sculpt on Superman. Like I said, he doesn't really look like Superman to me, but the comic pictures I've seen, this is decently close. The bike looks fantastic. I think the sculpt's a 4 out of 5. You know, this isn't a realistic version like we see on some statues. I would almost consider that Prime 1 Studios Superman Hush that I showed you earlier is more of a realistic take on it. This is straight from the comics. So I'm judging it based on that. Now, value. Value on this guy is a little bit more tough. So they only made 30 of these, which is fantastic. And you're not going to have a huge audience for this because a lot of people don't even know this Superman story. It's cool to know that there's only 30 of these in the world, and this will probably never be done again. Someone may make a Godfall Superman, but I highly doubt with the bike. Now, retail price was $1,450, I believe, plus shipping was $600. So you are $2,000 all into this piece. That is a big chunk to swallow. Plus, wherever I ship it, is going to have to pay another large amount of shipping because you saw how big the box was. So I'm going to let you guys know right now, I'm going to put this up for sale for $2,000 plus shipping. If you want to do that, email me at mrx@theextremechannel.com. Secretly hoping nobody takes me up on it right now so I can enjoy them for a few more months before I sell a bunch of 1/4 scale DC pieces. But I think the value is a 3 out of 5. I mean, honestly, it's just a character that a lot of people don't go after, and there's so many Superman statue options, and it's a lot of money, and I think the money's justified because it's so big and so rare. Does this have the X factor? Is this a 5 out of 5 statue? Now, I can tell you, if people walk in and look at the different Superman statues, I think I still own about 5 of them, they would go to this one because it's so unique. I think there's a lot of cool stuff on this, including the bike, including Superman's pose, and it's a cool conversation starter. So I do give it a 4 out of 5 overall as a statue. I really like it despite some of the flaws we mentioned and some of the challenges you have. Now tell me in the comments below today, throw down your favorite Superman story. I read every single comment, and also commenting enters you in to win a statue. We will be giving all of these statues away plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and sharing this with me. Again, if you're interested, go ahead and email me. If you like stuff like this, make sure to subscribe, hit that picture of me, less than half of you are. Also, if you would drop me a like on the way out, I'd really appreciate that. It really helps the channel. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.